The relationship between the United States and Canada has always been regarded as one of the most amicable in international politics. However, recent events have thrown a wrench into this harmonious dynamic. Tension between the two countries has been mounting, driven by economic policies that seem to be more confrontational than cooperative. The once serene border now tells a different story, one marked by toll booths and tariffs. Imagine travelers, including commercial truckers, queuing up at the Canadian border, not for the traditional friendly welcome, but to pay tolls. The toll booths, once mere symbols of regulated passage, have become battlegrounds in an ongoing economic war. In this essay, we will delve into the origins of this growing rift, the specific policies that have exacerbated it, and the wide-ranging implications that have ensued. The seeds of the current discord were sown during the Trump administration, which took a notably combative stance on international trade. Former President Trump's trade wars were ostensibly aimed at protecting American jobs and industries. However, the reality was far more complex and had unintended consequences, especially for relations with Canada. Trump's trade policies included imposing tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, citing national security reasons. The tariffs triggered a series of retaliatory measures from Canada, including tariffs on American goods. The trade war had begun, and the economic fallout was immediate. Businesses on both sides of the border found themselves caught in the crossfire, dealing with increased costs and disrupted supply chains. The intended effect of protecting American interests was overshadowed by the broader economic turmoil that ensued. This set the stage for the toll booth showdown that would follow, further complicating an already fraught relationship. In a move that many saw as a direct response to the US tariffs, Canada introduced tolls on American vehicles traveling through British Columbia to Alaska. This decision was both symbolic and practical, aimed at hitting back where it hurt. The tolls were not just about revenue, they were a message. The tolls specifically targeted US travelers and commercial trucks, both of which regularly traverse this route. For years, the journey through British Columbia to Alaska had been a smooth one. Now, with toll booths in place, it became a costly endeavor. The toll rates were set high enough to cause a dent, but not so high as to be prohibitive, striking a delicate balance between deterrence and feasibility. Travelers were caught off guard, finding themselves part of a larger geopolitical game. What was once a routine drive became a political statement, with each toll payment symbolizing the strained relations between the two countries. Commercial truckers, in particular, felt the pinch as the added costs began to eat into their margins. The move by Canada was seen as a clever, albeit aggressive, strategy to make the US reconsider its trade policies. The toll booths became the new front lines in the trade war, affecting the daily lives of countless individuals. Economic impact on travelers and trucking. The economic impact of these tolls on individual travelers and the commercial trucking industry has been significant. For individual travelers, especially those making regular trips to Alaska, the tolls added a new financial burden. What was once a scenic drive now came with a hefty price tag, forcing many to reconsider their travel plans. Commercial trucking, however, bore the brunt of the tolls. Truckers who already operate on thin margins found themselves facing increased costs that were difficult to absorb. The tolls added to their expenses, making what was once a profitable route less attractive. Some trucking companies even began to explore alternative routes despite the added distance and time. Increased costs for trucking translated into higher prices for goods transported via this route. Consumers in Alaska and other regions dependent on these supply chains began to feel the pinch, as prices for everyday items started to climb. The tolls, therefore, had a cascading effect, impacting not just the trucking industry, but also the end consumers. Broader repercussions in Alaska and beyond. The economic impact of the tolls and the broader trade tensions have been acutely felt in Alaska. As a state heavily reliant on imports for many of its goods, the increased costs and logistical challenges have had a direct impact on daily life. Prices for basic necessities have risen, and businesses have had to adapt to the new economic reality. In addition to the economic impact, there have been social repercussions. The once friendly relationship between Alaskans and their Canadian neighbors has become strained. The toll booths serve as a constant reminder of the larger geopolitical tensions affecting the social fabric of border communities. What was once an easy cross-border interaction has become fraught with complexity and resentment. The economic fallout from the trade wars and the tolls has led to increased political pressure on both sides. Policymakers are forced to navigate a complex web of economic interests and diplomatic concerns, with no easy solutions in sight. Supply chains that once flowed smoothly across the border have been disrupted, leading to inefficiencies and increased costs. Businesses that rely on cross-border trade have had to adapt to the new reality, finding alternative suppliers and routes. The fragile nature of economic ties. The toll booth showdown has highlighted the fragile nature of economic ties between the US and Canada. What was once considered a stable and cooperative relationship has revealed underlying vulnerabilities. Economic policies, once seen as merely transactional, have shown their potential to disrupt social and political dynamics. The trade wars and subsequent tolls have underscored the interconnectedness of the two economies. Actions taken by one country have immediate and far-reaching consequences for the other. The tolls, while a direct response to US tariffs, have had a cascading effect on both economies, highlighting the delicate balance that exists in international trade. The situation also serves as a reminder of the importance of diplomacy and cooperation. Economic policies cannot be viewed in isolation. They are part of a larger geopolitical landscape. The toll booth showdown has shown that retaliatory measures, while effective in the short term, can lead to long-term consequences that are difficult to reverse. Moving forward, both countries will need to navigate this complex landscape with care. The economic relationship between the US and Canada is too important to be left to the whims of short-term policies and political posturing. Reflecting on the rift. The growing tension between the United States and Canada, marked by the toll booth showdown, is a stark reminder of the complexities of international trade and diplomacy. The trade wars initiated by former President Trump have led to a series of retaliatory measures culminating in Canada's tolls on US vehicles traveling to Alaska. This situation has had significant economic and social repercussions on both sides of the border. The economic impact on individual travelers and commercial trucking has been profound, leading to increased costs and logistical challenges. The broader repercussions have been felt in Alaska and beyond, affecting the social fabric of border communities and disrupting supply chains. The tolls, while seemingly a minor measure, have highlighted the fragile nature of economic ties between the two countries. As we reflect on this situation, it becomes clear that the relationship between the US and Canada is at a crossroads. The toll booth showdown serves as a reminder of the importance of diplomacy and cooperation in navigating the complexities of international trade. Both countries will need to work together to find a path forward, recognizing the interconnectedness of their economies and the need for a stable and cooperative relationship. In conclusion, the toll booth showdown is more than just a series of economic measures. It is a symbol of the larger geopolitical struggle between the US and Canada. As we look to the future, it is essential to remember the lessons of this situation and strive for a relationship based on mutual respect and cooperation.